We want to welcome you all to Aruka's AY in collaboration with the Men's Ministry, entering into the unknown, a youth state of mind. Before we begin, please bow our heads to prayer. Dear kind and loving Father, thank you for bringing us here safely. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to worship you on your Sabbath day. I pray that the conversation this evening is fruitful, dear Lord, and that we all take away something from it and that it glorifies you in the long run. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So this afternoon, the program is going to be a little bit different format-wise. We're going to get right into the conversation. But before we begin, we have a song by Brother Duel Juvenel. Okay, I see that it's taken a little while to come. In the meantime, so this afternoon's program is going to be centered around youth and why we think the way we think, why we do some of the things we do. As the title said, it's entering into the unknown, right? The youth state of mind. So again, yes, we know there are usually a lot of questions. Why do young people doing this these days? Why do young people so this? Why do young people so that? So this evening we come in to give you answers. We want to be as real, uncut, as unfiltered as possible. We have two very well-equipped hosts, Brother Dwayne and Brother Kern from the Aruka Seventh-day Adventist Church. And right, so I'm guessing we're ready to go on this song. So again, introducing Brother Duel Juvenel.
Zephaniah 3:17, it says, "The Lord your God, in your midst, the mighty one, will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing." Yes. And before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. And you have been so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, it leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. You keep chasing after me, God, when I'm running away. I was your foe, still your love for me. God, you have been so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so kind. This is why we sing. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights still I'm found. It leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it, and still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, chases me, it fights till I'm, leaves the 99. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, say mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. Oh God, there's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, you're coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I found. It leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, how overwhelming is your love for me. Yes, it chases me, it fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. Hey.
Okay, stand by.
All right, guys. Let me apologize for that technical issue there. Right. So as Kelsey said earlier, we are going to discuss what are in the minds of youth. Zion, that's your picture. Or are you smiling? Or or because you were so still. Or you're smiling because you were so still there. I wasn't cool. I am not seeing Josiah, neither Jordan. Oh, Jordan is now connected. Reconnecting. Josiah, nice. Right. Entering into the unknown. I am so sorry when I heard the topic at hand. When I heard the topic at hand, I thought about into the unknown. Yeah, those who have kids and they would know what I'm talking about, right? So we are going to discuss. We have a panel of some young people here, ages ranging from average 16, 17 to about 20, 21, right? That's the average age, right? So we have the lovely Kelsey. Kelsey, just wave so people know who you are.
Elise, hi.
Oh, sorry. Khalees, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I wrote the wrong thing down. Right, Khalees, that's right. My apologies. And then we have the lovely Amaraya. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Right. And then we have three handsome young men, Zion. Zion, you could wave to the people, right? Josiah and Jordan.
Afternoon.
Good, great. And my co-moderator is none other than Dr. Big Shot or Kern Whittington. So we're going to start. We're going to get straight into it, right? We have some difficult questions here to ask. And I know these youth are going to be very open and honest. But just before, we're going to lay some ground rules. Very simple. We want everyone else besides the panelists to keep their mics muted. That is one rule. And keep your videos off. So only the panelists and the moderators have their mics on and their videos on. The second thing is no adult would be able to comment until the end if we allow you to comment. No adult is to comment. If a youth wants to comment, they could just raise their hand in the section there, and whoever is moderating that will see, and we will take your question or your comment. Any youth would be able to comment during the session, any youth at all, right? The adults, if you have any questions or comments, you can put it in the chat and we will have a look at it. And the last thing is, whatever is said here by the youth today, you do not approach them about it. You do not approach them about it. Or else, yes, I said that, or else you will have Kern and myself to deal with. And we make no apologies for that. We are protecting the youth because we need to hear what the youth has to say, right? So those are simple guidelines. I guess it's simple enough, right? So let's go with it. So now we know we live in a world where COVID has affected the world, right? Everything that we know as normal is not normal anymore. We wear masks, we have to sanitize all the time and that sort of thing. You're not in school again. Someone asked what is the age bracket for the youth. The age bracket is from 15, or I don't think it will have anybody younger, but teenage to 25. That is the youth, teenage to 25, right? Anybody older than that, old, and they can't comment, right? Excuse me. Right, so I was saying we live in a world of COVID right now. And we want to know, well, you're not in school, you're not in church, so you're not seeing your peers, you're not seeing your friends. As I know you all tech savvy, so you all, what they call it, FaceTime. That's what you all see. I don't know the jargon so well now. I am an old man, right? I am over 40, so I'm old. So you might see your friends online, WhatsApp call, video calls, or whatever, but the physical isn't there. How you all coped with that? How you all have been coping with that? Anybody could start. If nobody starts, I will call her name. And Kadi, since you are the AY leader for today, let's start with you. How have you coped with that?
I call my friends a lot. We have video calls probably once every 2 weeks. That's probably not a lot. But yeah, video calls, we text a lot, we respond to each other's statuses. So we're still kind of in touch, even though we can't see each other physically. Yeah, that's mainly it.
Yeah, yes, Ian.
I share Khalees's sentiments.
You share Khalees's sentiments. So that's how it basically is. So you just shoot a WhatsApp with call, or you text more, your WhatsApp more, just to keep in touch. Yeah, that's what you all saying.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like that's not enough. But that's what I do to quote unquote cope with it. And I'm also still in school, so I have to go to school for exams. So I see my friends then. I know we're not really supposed to be interacting, but we do that. So that has helped me a lot, going back to school for exams and actually seeing them face to face. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you have a kind of advantage there to say that you still kind of see your friends, although you cannot, although you're not supposed to, interact and that kind of, so you're breaking the law. So that right, Jordan, how has it been for you?
It's been a lot. I guess I got accustomed to it, so I guess I'll have to get accustomed to seeing my friends again. I haven't seen probably anybody from church in a long time. I need to change. So it's been tough, but I get accustomed to it.
All right, and Josiah.
Hi, good afternoon. Basically, I wouldn't lie, because of the whole pandemic and whatnot, things have kind of changed. I kind of stopped talking to a lot of my friends. If we're being honest, I kind of lost contact with a good bit of them. So it's more like, if isolation was the thing, I would be like really like by myself now. I might probably talk to like a few friends here and there, or sometimes my friend might have a lime or something like a small gathering. Might probably try something like once every 3 months. I don't know if so much, but like it's really changed. It hasn't been like how close contact was in school, got to see everybody every day. It's more like sparingly. If we text somebody, it might probably be like on a one-on-one kind of, like a very off time or timing, But it has been a lot. It's been a big change now. It's really hard to get accustomed.
But has it affected? I heard Jordan talked about he hasn't seen people from church and all that sort of thing. So this COVID situation, not being able to go to church, and has it affected you spiritually? And how so? Anybody? Zion, let's start with you. Has it affected you spiritually?
It has in a way, because you know, I'm being honest, the reason that we used to study a lesson the majority of the time was so that when you reach in Sabbath school, you look like you know something. But,
Oh yeah, just to argue with your friend and them sick. Yeah, yeah.
So well, I mean, we still have Sabbath school on a Friday night, but the dynamic is not really the same. So I mean, I still keep in contact with God. I still have a close relationship with God, so my prayers and whatnot. But to say the extensive studying and lesson and research and that kind of thing, it fell off a bit.
I would say, oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Anyone? Yeah.
go ahead, Elise.
Initially, I fell off because you're not really seeing your friends, as Zion said, those who used to study to kind of have that rapport with, and nobody forcing you to. Well, I wasn't forced before, but and you're not physically going to church and sitting down, and it's on the TV and it's on the phone and it's very optional. So at the start, I would say no. It did affect me, but in a negative way. As time went on, however, because we in this thing for like over a year, I got to spend more time with God. I know people say that, but it's true. You're just in your room and you're by yourself, and the pandemic has really given a lot of persons that opportunity to be still. And when you still, you hear God more. So it has affected me overall very well. So I would say my spiritual life has gotten better because of the pandemic.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Jordan.
The pandemic COVID has come with a lot of advantages and a lot of disadvantages. I'll start with the advantage. I was able to, have my own, or get a better relationship with God by myself, one-on-one with him, if you understand. So I was able to instead of church, quarterly, what things that somebody gave me, I was able to now, in seeking him, I was able to now go do my own research, listen to some pastor on YouTube, do my own things, look for myself. The disadvantage to that is that it will be on my own time. So before I would have a strict schedule, Sunday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday. We know we go into church those days. We pray in those days, we worship in those days. And now I have the, as Kelly says, very optional. So I have the opportunity to say, okay, today Jordan, now Jordan, this time Jordan. And that becomes scarce sometimes, and then it becomes a lot sometimes. So that's the disadvantage. I don't have a schedule. I don't know if you're supposed to have a schedule, but I don't have a schedule, so it's very spaced out instead of having Saturday, Friday night, Wednesday night.
Yeah, I understand.
I would say the same thing. Sometimes we feel like we need church to get closer to God. And I personally think the best way to get closer to God is to find out for yourself. Like Jordan was saying, sometimes we take what other people are telling us as, our devotion to God and us learning about God and stuff like that. And I think this has really given me the opportunity to seek God for myself and understand what the Bible says. And if somebody asked me a question, I could actually refer to what the Bible says instead of what the preacher told me. So I think I have benefited from COVID in that way.
Okay, all right. Well, Josiah, you have anything to say, or we could move on? Right. Okay. Cool. That I like the answers I'm hearing. That means you all have time to as I said, to see God for yourself. And what is an important part in being a young person, to see God for yourself, to know God for yourself. So that is good, right? One more question on this COVID thing, right? Do you feel, and we're talking about mental health, we're talking about relations with your peers and all that kind of thing, right? What are your plans for the future? Now, this is a difficult question that most youth don't think about until they reach at nearly 30 something, right? But what are your plans in the light of COVID? Has COVID dent your plans for your career, or for travel, or for relationships, or for finding a spouse, which we will talk about just now, because I mean, they're young or they're nice, so people watching all day, or they're watching people. You understand? So what has COVID, especially career-wise, because I guess the majority of youth studying right now, which is excellent. Has COVID, kind of put a spoke in your wheel, as we say, for your career and that sort of thing?
Actually, no, not at all.
No.
Miss Lights. I think, to be honest, COVID has been a blessing in disguise in terms of school, career path, stuff like that. Have a lot of time to like really focus on stuff at school. Like before, was a lot to juggle, had to go to school, had to come back home. You might probably have some sports here and there, but now it's more of a focus on, you have a Zoom class every day. It's really scheduled out. They really planned it out well. So I don't think, for me personally, there has really been no hiccups. Like, as far as career, there's only been one slight hiccup. Like, I'm doing nursing, so a medicinal degree, where we'd have to go out in the hospitals in order to like make up hours, so that when we be able to do the exam, we have enough hours to do the exam. But because of COVID, we haven't been able to go out at all. So that has been the only slight setback in that area. So we might have to like stay back for probably 6 months to a year. That isn't really a big setback. It was just a setback that came across. But like anything else, like say like finding somebody, or like with like, let's say like relationship with like friends and stuff in the future. I would say that a lot has changed during the COVID time with like peer bonding and stuff. Like a lot of time has gone in for me, so I could like make decisions as to who I would keep as my friend group to the future, who would be beneficial to me. I had a lot of time to like really contemplate on who I would keep in my circle. Not like have nothing big, like really small structured friend group. And in terms of other stuff, I would think that there have been no hindrance, if being honest. I think for me personally, things have been going really smooth as for future ones. Other than the career, but that's about it.
All right. So
All
Josiah, your preference will be, in terms of learning, your preference will be Zoom classes as opposed to face-to-face classes.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say I am one of those people who actually like being on Zoom rather than having to see people every day. I'm not the fan of socializing like that. So for me, like if I could see my friend, like how I'm seeing you all here like this, I really have no problem. I find it's like, for me, it's like a control type of environment. I get to see you, get to see me. When class done, I get back my space, back your space, But yeah, I really have much of a problem with stuff.
Okay. All right. Bit of a different era, but okay. Yeah.
Personally for me, well, as you all know, if you all don't know, I'm writing exams this year. My exams are almost finished. So, in terms of preparation for exams, it was a bit difficult with online classes and stuff. That was a hiccup because for a subject like POA, right, principles of accounts, in a subject like that, it's good to have your teacher in front of you with the board and going through step by step instead of a PowerPoint. So it's very difficult to learn accounts from a PowerPoint, right? But in terms of the future and stuff, it gave me a bit of time to contemplate on what I really like, how I really wanted to move forward. But I wouldn't say it was a big hiccup to say I can't do what I wanted to do, or I have to take a totally different route, or it didn't affect me in that way.
Okay, all right.
I would say COVID has given me direction, honestly. Coming into COVID, I was in Form 6. Yeah, in Form 6, I had an idea, a rough idea, but I didn't really have anything set. And being home, able to think and ponder on it, I could say I have a way better idea or sketch of how my life's supposed to go or how I want it to go. In terms of university, it has been a help, because if this is the university that my mom has prepped me to fare and say UE is this and UE is that, and you have to work real hard. Well, right now I going through a breeze. So I happy right now at home. I am good. It's easy. It's, well, not easy, but it's easier than Form 6. So yes, I'm very social, and I would want to be out there and meet new people. That's the biggest hindrance, that I'm not meeting people. Somebody said for now. But it's been an easy year one. Anyway, so I think it's been better. Better is it's been good.
It's relative. It's relative.
Relative, yeah.
Yeah.
So coming into COVID, I was still in university, and I hated online classes. I used to just avoid doing online classes. Any face-to-face I would do it. So being forced to do online classes, I further hated them. I don't know. I just prefer being around people, getting to walk to the cafeteria, seeing my friend in person, stuff like that. But I'm a graduate now, and before COVID, there was an issue with graduates getting jobs. After COVID, it has worsened because the pool of employers is now an employer's market, for want of a better term. And so they get to pick and choose, and some of them not even hiring anymore. So it affected me mostly that way, in that the job kind of not coming. So a lot of people turn into entrepreneurship. I kind of starting to do my own thing. So it has benefited me there. In terms of meeting people, it's a bummer. I don't like meeting people online. I don't talk to you for more than a week. So that has affected me really badly. Well, if I don't know you, I wouldn't, But I still talk to my friends, and so it kind of puts a bummer on the meeting people aspect of things. Other than that, COVID it's been okay for me. God has took me through it, and it's not that bad. Yeah.
All right. Couldn't you have anything to say? Oh, go ahead, Amaraya. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't think it affected anything pertaining to my future. What it did affect was my online classes. To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention. I used to sleep through a lot of those classes. And yeah, so afterwards, when it came back to exams, I was like, oh my gosh, I really don't know anything. So I had to go and study extra hard because I wasn't taking time to pay attention in class. I'm also a student who is very interactive in the classroom. I love to talk. So always talking in the classroom, interacting with the teachers, Then in school, now I'm able to go to the teachers and harass them about my grades to get them up. And online, it was harder to do that because then the teachers are not replying to my messages. They're leaving me unseen. It was a whole big mess with my SBAs. So I think that's how it set me back. Pertaining to my friends, how I took it was like, if you wanted to be in my circle at this time, you would. So I don't think I was really harassed by anything. I think this was the best time to figure out who your friends were and who the best friends for you are and who really has you in their mind and has your best interest at heart. Because the friends that just fell off, I think it was for the best.
Okay. All right.
All right. So now that we covered kind of like this COVID situation, and I mean, this will be an ongoing conversation that we will always have because COVID is still here, right? There are things that we have to discuss, but we just don't have time because we want to touch on some other topics, right? So I wanna ask, the questions will get a little more difficult as they see, right? So let's start. Why? No, let me ask a different question first. Do you think religion is your religion? We are Seventh-day Adventists. Do you think it is too restrictive and prevents you from doing stuff? What, let me just say that part. Do you think it is too restrictive for a young person? Right? Now, that question, before you answer, that question will line up with why are the youth slipping out of church by the age 18? Now, 18 is when you are a legal adult, right? So that question, is it too restrictive? And it will slip into that question there, right? So who's going first with that? Is it too restrictive for you, or for whatever plans you may have? Amariah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the religion is restrictive. I would say the people in our church or in our religion are restrictive.
Talk, man.
Yeah,
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think what our religion is sometimes people just add things, and I'm trying to find out the basis for those things that they add in, and I'm not finding it. I'm not finding it at all.
Can you give me an example?
All
right, let me put you on the spot here. Go ahead. I will figure it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's basically all I had to say. I don't think it's the religion. I think it's the persons in it. And then there's a whole bunch of church politics and things that I don't think, have anything to do with our religion. So yeah.
All right. See, Amariah started off hot one time. That's good. It's the people, and you're free to say it's the adults or what?
Oh no, it is the adults.
Oh yeah, it is the adults. Yes. Oh come on, don't be afraid to say it is the adults. Yes. I see in the chat here somebody put facts and they put it in caps. You understand? Facts. You understand? Anybody else want to
I didn't know
talk
what
on that?
I didn't know what Amara said. It's not only the adults. There are a lot of other youths that are very judgmental as well, right? And they pick at everything that you do, they pick it apart and paint you in a light that's not you, right? So, okay, so let me use the example. So you go in the mall with your friends and your friends doing one thing, but you're not doing that, right? Your friends doing something, but you're not doing that. Something that you know is against your beliefs or whatnot. And your friends doing that, but you're not doing that. You're not doing that. So, but somebody from church see you and go now and saying that they see Zion doing this in the mall, and his friends was there too. And that, well, all you know, youth just talk, right? So that gonna pass from one person and then go to somebody else and then go to somebody else until the whole church know business, and it's something that you didn't do in the first place, and then they don't want to come to church again. So I didn't know what Amara said. It's not just the adults, but there are a lot of youths that do it as well. It's the people in the religion.
All right. Anybody else? Jordan, please, Josiah.
I would say it definitely came across really restrictive in the growing up years. Because you talking to your friends, and of course all your friends not gonna be SB, and they're like, what are you doing on Saturday? I go to the bazaar. I go in this spot, I go in this, I do in this. And we kind of watch your religion like, wow, or you had to take the layman's space for me to leave. But not seeing the things that we do that are steeped in the Bible, I fully understand why we do what we do. But as Amariah said, some frills really not called for, and that all comes together to make the religion seemingly very restrictive to us youths. And well, I don't know about the adults now, but I could only speak for myself. So yeah.
I want to say it is restrictive, but I need you to understand why I'm saying it. It's relative. I just end up being the one person or one of the people who like or want to do things that just have to be on Saturday. Like, that's so crazy. Why everything have to be on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
But as Kelly said, I understand everything. That's the only thing, is a real pull on a tug, because this is right and this is wrong, but you still want to find a gray area. If you understand what I'm saying, you want to find that gray area. And I wouldn't lie, I'm still searching for some gray areas. Not to success though, but I'm still searching. Other than that, it is restrictive in terms of you always have to be on your P's and Q's in public and around other youths, like what Zion said. Because if something happened, and I tell you this happened to me recently, something happened, big scandal, and somebody telling me about it. Just recently I told them I was a Seventh-day Adventist. They tell me about it, they was like, and your Seventh-day Adventist friend, yeah, he wasn't that too. And I had to be, but what I had to do, his actions, those. But at the end of the day, that is the reason why I would say it is restrictive, in terms of you might want to do something and you just don't know if somebody might take it the wrong way, or somebody come and tell you, I thought you was a Seventh-day Adventist. You use bad Adventist. That word popular now. Use bad Adventist, use this, that. So in that way, it's also restrictive. But I also do understand all the stuff and things that come with being a Seventh-day Adventist, and I embrace it. So yeah.
Okay, so I would say I have to agree, but I would like to specify. Adventism itself is restrictive depending on your lifestyle that you choose, that you want to. Okay? It is not restrictive if you would like to follow every single thing that an Adventist is supposed to. For that, there is freedom. However, if you choose to do things that are outside of Adventism, it is then restrictive. Okay? So now, if your lifestyle is more of one that you want to have fun, you want to go to a party, whatnot, now Adventism, there is some restrictions, Now, if you want to go to church, you want to read your Bible, there are no restrictions. So it's really depending on the lifestyle that you choose. That's where I see the restrictions. It's not because of the adults. If you want to take on the people in church, well, that's up to you. You choose personally to, listen to those who criticize your decisions, But it's not really restrictive, depending. Like when we were younger, we had rules, regulations you have to follow. When you're an adult, you have the same rules and regulations you have to follow, but now it's more like, hey, what? You're an adult, you're grown, you have sense. If this is what you want to do, this is what you want to do. That religion doesn't have to restrict you. You could do what you want to do, but it's not because of the religion itself. It just depends on the lifestyle that you want to live. That's when it becomes restrictive.
Yes, I wanted to ask something.
Sorry.
Sometimes I want to know where the line is of the wrong and the right, because sometimes it's like, is listening to Pan wrong, or what, like, I don't know, like if you go to Pan on the Avenue, you just listening to the Pan, the music, is that wrong?
I
Or
want to
is
touch
that,
on what you say. I want to touch on what you say. You see, that is something also I want to add to Adventism, right? There are some restrictions that are not in the Bible that you all add to restrict us, and
that's
I
what I'm
find
saying,
it
it's the
doesn't make sense.
people.
For example, you can't go to cinema. We're not in the Bible. I'm really confused as to where God specifically said you can't go near the cinema to watch a movie.
No, that was
You
going to
watch
come
it
up, you know.
according to me. Is that, mommy?
Is
Wait.
being very honest.
Right.
Your
So what I'm
response.
saying is there are some things where the religion is very, like, where the additive roots came from. You know, like something from the Bible, I agree to, I could follow, I could understand. It's there. But there's some other stuff where it like, where these restrictions come from? It's like, this doesn't make sense because this not here. It's not written in KJV Bible. It's not there. It's not written in God's way. I don't see, you know. So I understand where that type of restriction. Mariah, thank you for mentioning that. I really forgot about that. But yeah, it's like, what's that one, you know?
I know that cinema argument was going to come up, and that has been playing amongst the minds of young people for ages. I mean, long time the argument was that, you know, if you go to a cinema, you had plenty smoking, you had drinking, so the environment was wrong. But I mean, now we have different environments in cinema, and as somebody said in the chat, the same thing that you see in a cinema, you stay and you watch at home. So it's a difficult argument. It's a difficult argument.
Right. So do you think because of those restrictions and the people and the adults and who add in restrictions, as you say, do you think that is a reason why we have generations missing from church? For example, when we get, just now before you go, Zion. Okay, you go ahead, Zion. I will wait. This is all your so I will wait. Go ahead, Zion.
I think that is probably the main reason why people leave the church when they reach a certain age, because of the added stuff and the, I want to say, but I don't want to say pressure that is placed upon them to follow certain things. I mean, as one of them said, if you don't want to listen, you don't have to listen. It's a personal choice. But there is a lot of pressure, and that is, I think that is the main reason why a lot of youth just at a certain age just slip out and do all what they can't do in the church.
All right.
Okay. I like to add to what Zion said. So, a lot of youths, when we are at church, we are faced with a lot of responsibility at one time. We're young, we're told that we have to follow X, Y, and Z. And then we have friends in other environments who don't have to follow X, Y, and Z. We watch them in envy and awe. We're like, but you have so much freedom on that side, and you're watching at home, you're like, wow, I wish I could have freedom like that. So I don't even think that it starts at like 18. I saw the question you asked like at 18.
Yeah,
I don't even think it starts there. Actually, I think it starts before that. You see, 15, 16, 17, mentally, you clock out. Mentally, you're out of there one time. And then when you turn 18, now you're an adult, you could make that decision because now you're grown, you're legal, you could do that. It's like, I've been thinking about leaving because I would want that freedom. And when that 18 guard comes, they're like, they're gone. I gotta be honest, that happened to me. I wouldn't even lie. Like, I was like, would I want this? Do I really want to? It's like, there's a lot of questions that really come into mind because now it's had the question yourself, like, am I doing this because I love doing this? Am I here because I truly love this? Or am I here because my parents sent me here when I was young? Am I here because I'm trying to follow a family tradition? You know, it's more of like a feeling for you. Is then you'll be like, hell, either I want to stay this, I want to stay here, or I want to go. And it really is a personal decision. I don't really, and I think the next thing is a lot of pressure that is from like the adults in church sometimes gets to us. And it's be like, is pressure really necessary? I already have a whole set of stuff going on in life, despite being in church. And then that added pressure is like, that added, like sometimes it might be a little bit of judgment here and there for the kind of decisions you might make in church. And you're like, I really don't need this extra stress right about. And if leaving or just cutting off everybody is, better for my little mental health, I have to do that. Well, probably so be it. That sometimes that way I have to do sometimes. But yeah, I think that is a reason why people might leave at that 18-year-old like age and stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh, I think I'm not going to touch on that because I think that is true. But another reason I think that people leave the church, first of all, I don't think all people are leaving the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I think a lot of people are leaving Aruka SDA Church and going to other churches in the district.
I was coming to that, but go ahead. You just go straight ahead.
And I also think that hypocrisy is another reason that people are leaving the church. Because let's just take it from this point. If I want to do this, right, and I'm in the church and I want to do this, but I can't do it, and you, the members of the church, are telling me that I cannot do it, but then you are doing it, right, trying to quote unquote hide it up, and then I do it. I finally come to the point I could do it. I doing it. And then you come and say, why is you doing that? Ting, 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 ting. And then, so now you're saying, but you are the same person. And then I find out that you are doing the same thing that you told me not to do. It's like, what am I really doing here? The people here are not making a good influence on me anymore. They're lying. It's like a whole bunch of things that play into that. And I think hypocrisy is one of the biggest points.
Good. Alea, just before you go ahead, Josiah, give Alea.
Okay.
Alea?
Good evening, everyone. I just want to touch on what Josiah was saying because it was very honest and it was the truth as well. Like sometimes you might feel as though the elder persons in the church, like, they're bullying you or they're pressuring you, whatever. But something that I will say we young people, because I'm young too, something that we have to keep in mind is that when it is you set your mind on doing something, and I can speak for myself, anything anybody tell you, they could come and tell you it nicely, they could come and hug you up and tell you it, or they could cuss you, whatever, you would just be hearing, like, this person trying to stop my life, you trying to bother me, you need to mind your business, no matter what the person says, who it is, or how they say. It could be somebody that everybody loves in church, and it could be Uncle Bill coming to tell you something, and you would still feel as though, like he's bothering because you know what you want, and you are adamant that I want to do what I want to do. I'm eating. I want to live my life. So sometimes, it's not really that the person's like judging you and nagging you, like they really and truly coming to you in love, but because you set your mind on what you want to do, sometimes it could feel as though like why they don't mind the business. And the other thing, people always like to say you're being a hypocrite because look at what you do and whatever. But sometimes the best person to actually talk to you is the hypocrite. And sometimes we need to get out of ourselves and get out of our emotions and start to separate the person from the message, right? Put the person aside, forget them and their character and the life that they live in, but listen to the substance of the message, right? There's no better person in the world to tell you about teenage pregnancy than a teenager that got pregnant. But the way that we operate now, if a teenage mom comes and tell you about it, you would think, okay, why you don't wash your mouth? You have a baby too. Which is kind of backward because it's like this person knows, this person isn't living it, so they could talk, they could tell you. But we would just watch it as, you have no right to be talking, you made a mistake. So that's just my contribution.
Okay. Thanks, Alea. Anna, Alea has rollies. Just putting that out there. Right. Anyway, okay. Right. So with all that being said, right? Alea touched on a what's going on. Alea touched on something that we'll get to later on when she talked about teenage pregnancy and all of that. Right? Let me ask, can you have anything else to say?
No, I just listened to the youth this evening. Just listening. It's just
Right.
But let me just say one. Let me just point out one thing. It may be sometimes it may be the approach of the person who wants to come and talk to a young person, because I specifically remembered sometime ago I was speaking to a young man who have not seen for a little while. I wouldn't call his name because he's only chat at present. I hadn't seen him for a little while, and that other gentleman came up and he was talking to him, and he was like, "Hey boy, what you doing, boy? Your hair janks up, your hair Coloradian, you wearing ring, you wearing an earring. What going on, boy? And I was sitting, the first thing that came to mind was, you haven't seen this young man for such a long time. I was just happy to see, man. I was just happy to see the young man. And I mean, your approach, your approach in general, it may not, I mean, although he may have been genuine, I don't know how it would have affected the young man. I didn't really talk to him after that, really. But I mean, I believe it would have affected him negatively if he didn't have much a relationship with him. His approach was a little bit of attacking. I don't know how he took it, but I found it was a little bit offensive. So sometimes in doing good, you may come across as offensive to the young people based on your approach.
Right. So Kern spoke straight to the adults there, right? Straight to the adults, because sometimes we rail off with the approach, really off, right? And quite frankly, the youth have right to turn up their face at us, because we really offer with the approach. We don't approach with love. We approach with judgment, and we can't do that. So moving on, right? Let me ask this. So during the pandemic, and Kern touched on the point, during the pandemic, you think the leadership of the church did enough to reach out to the youth? To reach out, because that some of the youth told me that, well, I wouldn't say what it is. So let me hear what you say, and then I would say, reach out where they geared programs toward you all to make sure that you are still a part of this of the church per se. Do you think the church or the leadership or the adults did enough to make sure we making sure we securing the youth in this trying time of the pandemic? Did you all get that?
I would say that they tried. It's not like if they just left the youth out. I saw the adults actually trying, like with the lesson study on a Friday night. I see Brother Bing and Sister Meecock and Brother Job Mahanson. They come over there every Friday night, and even if it's just one or two of us that are there, they remain there, and they go through the lesson, and they ask us if we understand things, they explain stuff, and they try. It's not like if they don't try. I see them trying, so yeah, they did.
Yeah, I have to agree with Zion. They did put a better effort into trying to like have us involved and whatnot. Like for example, I saw for like lesson study. I think it was a recent implementation, because that's really new, but it was nice. I think it come up like 2 months ago, something like that. That was nice. Showing recently, where before the new restrictions and whatnot, he tried to invite us all so that we could all like catch up and stuff. That was really nice. I thought about him. And for like the AY program, like what we have now, there have been a few programs where they like reached out to us and stuff like that. That was when I reached out to us and asked us to be like really involved in like the programs and stuff. So yes, I would say that they gave like some of the adults, I wouldn't say all, especially if I say some of them put in an effort to reach us out and contact us and whatnot, and so make us involved in stuff.
I personally think they did all that they could have done. I don't think it was enough though. So it's not the adults or the people fault. It's probably just the restrictions and the timing. If you're talking about the 18-year-olds, 18 to 21, you're not seeing that age group. I personally think that is the age to figure it out. To figure out if you want to be here or you don't want to be here, right? Before, from 13 to 17, that was the age to convince. That is the age to convince. You can't come now and try to convince the 18 to 21-year-olds because they just got the free pass. Right now, your parents understand that you're growing now, and your parents are now saying, okay, I can't really tell him this all the time. So I can't really force him. I can't force her, sorry. So the age to convince is the 13 to, I wouldn't even say that, 10 to 15. That is the age to convince them. If they are not convinced by then, as soon as they reach the age where they can go and do their own things, they will go and do their own things. And for some reason, I actually think that is the righteous age to do so, because you figure out a lot of things at this age. You figure out who you are, you figure out what you believe in, and I guess that's, I wouldn't say that y'all or the adults didn't do anything. I would say y'all did what y'all was supposed to do. Y'all tried, but it wasn't enough because of the circumstances y'all were put in too.
All right. Glad to hear that. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I would say I definitely see the efforts. So this is the first time we all are going through something like this, a pandemic. And I could only speak for myself. I've been a part of conversations where the elders were like, tell us what we could do to kind of reach the youth. Tell us, give us these youth numbers, etc., etc. So I see the efforts. I'm not sure how far reaching it would have been because I haven't gotten the opportunity to speak to everyone. I know I'm a part of AY, so I know that's one of our main goals, to reach the youth, and we've been trying. So I definitely see their efforts and I want to commend them on that. Speaking about what Jordan just spoke about, I also agree that the 18 to 21 age gap is really where you kind of figure it out, because now you have the freedom. Before, you have your mind and you have your thoughts and you know whether or not you want to stay in church. But now is the time you have the freedom. And I know a lot of adults would have this story where God spoke to them, or their first encounter with God, etc. A lot of us have not had our first encounter, like hearing God stopping you in the middle of a parking lot or something like that. And it's a growing and learning process, and God is God. He will run down the one out of the 99. So although, yes, we see the exodus, I think we focus in way a lot on the exodus, but God definitely has a plan. So you'll see them trickling back in, I think, and just continue doing what you're doing in terms of reaching out to the youths. And we, as well as youths, to continue to reach out to our friends that we don't see in church as much anymore as well.
Right, because that was Alea Sia coming just now. That was my next question. What are the youth in church doing for the youth who they see leaving, or who? And I'm not talking about Amarai. I'm not talking about people leaving Aruka to go Dabadi or to go St. Augustine or that sort of thing, right? I'm talking about who stepping out of the, as people say, the safe zone, right? I hope I'm not putting on a spot to answer that. The hope is that you're at least doing something for your peers, because they will quicker listen to you than listen to an old man like Kern or myself, right? Because you could identify with the pressures that they're going through. Because as Kern and I was discussing sometime, the issues that you all have now, we didn't have it. Like we didn't have to deal with social media and Facebook And that we all we had to do was go up in Bonet hard courts and sweat till 1 o'clock in the morning and go home. You understand? We don't know social media, we don't know WhatsApp and that sort of thing. Everybody used to socialize and that sort of thing. And it was a kind of personal relationship you had with each other. Right? So I know now you have studies, you have way more studies than we had. You understand? You have social media, you have all these other things outside there that could lure you all, right? And it is harder for you all, right? So and you would know the kind of temptations that other youth is going through. So we suggest that you reach out to your peers also. Yeah? Aliyah, go ahead. And then Jordan, I see your hand up or something.
I just wanted to comment on what you say.
Well,
Exactly what you say now. Go ahead, Ali. Go ahead, Lee. Go
No,
ahead.
I not getting involved in that. I family there, right? So I not getting involved in that at all.
I was just want to piggyback off of the question where you asked if the church was doing enough for the during the pandemic, right?
Right.
And I would say I felt as though, like, like on a personal level, like persons from church would have reached out, even if it may not have seemed like, the church like put enough big programs in place. I still find that like there were people in church I could speak personally that reach out, like I speak to Brother John, we talk along like oh and something, and they make it sure that it's good, right? But I also think that sometimes, like just generally, we could be really hard on the church, and as young people, we kind of look at it as us young people and then the church, the older folk, and we fail to realize that we make up the church, young and old. So the same way, like we'll be looking out for the older folks to have programs for us in COVID and conversation and all these things. Like we could also do the same. We could pick up the phone and call Sister Dean. We could pick up the phone and call, this person. Like we all have our parts to play, because at the end of the day, the adults are also human, just like us. They were young, just like us. They are going through things with the pandemic, losing jobs, children home all day. So it's kind of like everybody under stress. And I feel as though, for us to just sit back and say, ways boy, which the church do nothing for young people during COVID. Look at how they move in. They're supposed to be the church, and start to look at them negatively. Because of that, I think it's kind of unfair. Because I think that just generally what you would realize is that sometimes the older folk would forget that they were young people once. So the same struggle that the young people going through, like they used to go through it, as well as young people forget that older people were young and they're still struggling with temptation. So like, I listen, like I might get over the whole cinema issue, but I would tell you the truth, like I was real fascinated with tattoos and these things. Like real bad, watching little ink shows, and at that time when you more with a little bit of money in my pocket and you're thinking ways where I could go and get this, whatever, because you like these things. But then you get older and you kind of understand and appreciate these scriptures and these things, but it doesn't mean that you're still over these temptations totally, right? But I just think that we need to appreciate that everybody is still human, young, old, you still have the same temptation and these kind of things. So that's just my whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, thanks, Aliyah.
What?
Go ahead.
What I would say, I'm trying to remember what you said. What I would say, you said that we, the youth, should try to reach out to our friends, our peers.
Yeah.
Now, you would think that we would listen to each other. If we have problems with the adults, we would listen to each other. You would think so, eh? But I don't know if it's our generation problem or just a human problem, but it's like it's impossible for us to listen to somebody who we know flawed too. Like you tell me something, Aliyah just said it, Aliyah. You tell me something and I thinking about all the things you do bad. I think about when you was young, you was doing the same thing. When you was my age, you was doing the same thing. Let me figure it out myself, right? Let me do my thing. And that is the biggest problem. Like, so we say we want the adults to do better, and then even if our peers help us, we judging them too. So where is who it is the younger ones have to come and talk to us, because who it is that could come and really talk to us and we listen to, right? I think personally, I have learned that anything that anybody tell you, in my head, I always be like, don't think this person perfect at this. Because I just do it too. I would tell somebody who younger than me, my little cousins, don't do such a thing. And if I really be honest with myself, am I really not doing such a thing? So when I listen to an older person or somebody else tell me something now, and I'm just advising everybody, don't think of it as, I wonder if he does really do what he tell me to do. Just think he telling you the right thing, he or she, I keep forgetting, he or she tell you the right thing, just do the right thing. That's how that's the mindset we have to get. And if we don't have that mindset, we will never be able to learn from our peers. And that's why I say 18 to 21, this age bracket here, just figuring it out by themselves. And I read something that this said just now, and I said it, to figure it out. We could still figure it out in church, right? And I wouldn't lie, at 15, 16, 17, I was in church, but I mentally wasn't in church. Or I would still come to AY and do all these things and come up loud and speak this, and everybody saying, Jordan, wow, Jordan, this. That was so hypocritical because, listen, my mind was not there. I just there for the time, in the time, and as soon as I leave, I go on again. And now this age, as I'm figuring it out, I'm saying, and there's plenty of people come, and it's part of the reason why plenty of people come and ask me to do something, and I might say no now. Before I never used to say no, but I might say no now, is because I really want to make sure that I believe in what I'm doing. That's my biggest thing now. I believe in what I'm doing. So I wouldn't just come and do an amazing spoken word or whatever it is for everybody to clap and for me to feel good and say, hey, Jordan could really do this. At this point, it's really about me feeling comfortable and knowing that I am doing what I believe. And that's it. I think I went off topic a little bit, but I'm just talking.
Yeah, after I could just jump in here.
Sure.
I think what happens is, to the last question or the question before that you asked, I think the old, quote unquote, older folks are trying, but I think the youths are getting turned off with what they are doing, because if you are saying that it is a place where we can talk and we can come, but then when we come and we try to talk out our problems, you keep rebutting and saying, but the older folks are doing this, but did it, and everything we do, we are shutting it down. It's annoying. So even when you are trying the next time, I'm not going to come, because what am I going to come there to do? It just turns you off to a place. So even though sometimes I see the efforts, it's like, what am I going there to do, to get, if I'm going there to talk and then for somebody to say, but the older folks are doing this. If you're telling me I'm coming to a place to talk and speak and, just this is a place where we can learn about what is going on in your life or whatever. But then when I try to tell you those things, it's always like a rebut and something to shut down. I'm not going to go anymore. So, yeah.
All right.
Get that. Get that.
I think though it's all about the approach, because I understand being at this age, I have little siblings, and sometimes I do, you wake up one day and realize you're just like your parents, even though you didn't like what they did. So I tell my little brother, hey, don't do that. Why? And I'll just walk off. Why? He asking why, and you won't tell him, because in your head, and he should just hush because you older than him. And he needs to listen to you. But when you think about it, you were that age, and nobody wants to be just like our little robots walking around being told what to do. So it would be much easier if we as the youths and as the elders and everybody in the church talk with each other and not talk at each other. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't come here. Don't go there. The experiences that I've had with my mentors, persons who were older than me that I listened to, it was a conversation we had. They told me what they did, they didn't like it. These were the outcomes of their, experiences. And because I'm able to converse with them and we go back and forth and I tell them, this is why I'm thinking about doing something like that. And they listen. And now that they're giving me their advice, it is better received. So it's just a tip for us youths, because we turn out just like what we don't like if we don't sit down and think about it. And for the elders who looking to have, rapport with youth, it's all about conversation. And remember that you were here too. Not that because you were here too and you know better, you're telling us don't do this, don't do that. But because you were here too and you've experienced it, you know why I want to do certain things. And you know the temptations I have. So have a conversation with me. And that is how I think we could solve this whole big hullabaloo and issue that we have in church.
Right. No. When I hear in church and churches and church that, I am thinking about Aruka Church. I can only speak for Aruka Church because that is the church that I belong to. So, and that is the church that you all belong to. And Amariah made that point that people live in Aruka Church. Now, one girl and a guy tell me one of the reasons they left Aruka Church because they were not seeing anybody to have a future with in Aruka Church. And that brings us to the next topic that was sent to me for us to discuss. Right? Josiah, you laugh, but Josiah started laugh one time. So Josiah will answer the question first. Now me, because he started laugh, he started blush, he started having what Josiah conduct, what Josiah conduct. You understand? So is it I was told, I don't know, because it wasn't so, it was difficult for us, yes, but I guess harder for you all. Is it what relationship wise is it a difficult thing to have a relationship in church, or is it easier to have a relationship with someone outside of church? When I say outside of church, I mean not a Christian or not a Seventh-day Adventist. What are your thoughts on that? And you see, by here we need, I need you all to be blunt, I need you all to be honest.
About relationships.
So, and someone said something. All right, Josiah, we starting with you, because you start to laugh, don't and blush, don't the place first. Right? How difficult it has been, quote unquote, to have a girlfriend in church. You see, I don't know what did I say? What did I say something funny? Why is it that when we talk about these things that you all start to laugh and
I don't remember some past experiences. I just found it so funny. So okay. All right, let me be honest, right?
And I'm not talking about Aruka alone. Let me all right, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, but for me personally, I didn't really. If you talk about Adventist people that I have liked or been with, it has been in Aruka. I didn't really go anywhere, so I'll be here, right? So,
right. Good. Right.
Yeah. So having a relationship in here is a bit much. It is a bit much, personally, because everybody's now in your business. Everybody knows. The moment, like, you don't keep the information that you like somebody or you're with somebody under wraps, now everybody knows, okay? And then with that pressure, it's like people will be like judging your hair. Like, not really judging, it's more like they're watching your movements heavily in church. Now they see what you're doing. They see that you like this girl, to be like, Josiah, you're not supposed to be doing that. Now you have people inside your relationship, and it's very confusing because it's like, this has nothing to do with you. This is my relationship. How you reach here, how you reach in giving points and thoughts of what I should be doing in a relationship. I find it very weird. So having a relationship in church is very strained in that aspect. Now, the next aspect that makes dating somebody in church very difficult is that we grew up together. All of us grew up together. I do not see anybody here as more than a sister, more than a friend to me. I cannot imagine myself actually dating somebody in church that I know from since we all go in junior church together.
You serious?
I'm serious. I'm being honest. I cannot date somebody. Like, we're talking about Aruka Seventh-day Adventist church. Can I date somebody in there? No. Okay, I lie. Probably a few exceptions. But But
Go
then,
ahead.
like, the vast majority thereof, I just kind of, it's either you're a big brother to me. Yeah, it's like X, like Nikki said. It's like a X, it's like, you know, we don't want no name. I'll call it no names. No. So anyway, continue onwards, right? I think it was easier for me to like date somebody that was outside of church. Not for like the reason that I couldn't like probably get somebody in another district or whatnot. It was more like I don't have people in my business. That's the first thing. I don't have anybody in my business. I could date somebody knowing that there is nobody watching my every move and whatnot I'm doing, you know. The second thing was that there was a mention that some of the youths would be type of judgmental on the way that you would do certain things, right, as a person, your lifestyle. I wouldn't say that all, it'd be like some one or two, like, okay, you might like them and they might probably like, you know, they might probably they probably would judge what you do with your lifestyle, you know? So it'd be like, I want to date you, but like how I move and how you move is two different type of moves and I don't see eye to eye. It's like that, you know? But then when you go out, you meet somebody who, like you are Adventist, they might be a Pentecostal or I don't know. Let me say that, right? We meet this person, we talk and whatnot. We would have a faster bond because some things we might see eye to eye, not all, but some things we might see eye to eye. Some things we could look past. Sometimes she might be interested in what my religion might be. I might be like very curious of what she. It's a kind of open-mindedness that in Arouca I don't see. Everybody is really close-minded sometimes, and it's like if I'm supposed to have a relationship with you, I would like somebody that I could be open-minded with. I could have viewpoints with, that we can discuss things with. Because a relationship is not only about intimacy, like being physical with somebody. A relationship is somebody that you are like equal with, somebody that you could like be with. And I find like in church, specifically, if I say in Arouca, it is hard, you know, it's kind of difficult. But there are some that you just have to find that place. For me, it's hard. It's been hard. I tried that, been there, done that. And it's like, nah, I would have to be like, nah, you know. But yeah, that's what I think.
Before you go, Zion, let's take Ariel. I pronounced it correctly?
Yes. Just I kind of touched on it, but I was just going to say that when we were actually in church physically, to have a relationship in church was like a spectacle. So everybody, all the adults and the youth's attention is focused on them and they're watching to see if they will sit down next to each other. It's like a drama show. And I'm just like, but can youth experience things that youths normally would experience without the constant judgment and opinions involved in that? And so yes, that's just what I wanted to say. And sometimes also adults might ship two people together. So they could just be friends, but they'll be like, oh, how you sitting down next to that one? How you talking to that one? You like that one? You like that boy or what? And the whole time that's just your friend. So I think that is something that needs to be worked on as well.
All right.
Just to Ariel point. I'm sorry to cut in, but some of the things that we see that happens in church, to me, it's happen like in the whole of Trinidad, something like the whole world, you know. Like, don't just feel as though only in church everybody watching a relationship and puts in their 2 cents. That is Trinidad and Tobago on a whole. Like, anytime people see people together, everybody macking, everybody wants to put in their 2 cents. So, I mean, to kind of expect like different from the church, I wouldn't say unrealistic because that's like our culture, if you understand.
Right, good. Jordan, yeah, and then Zayo.
I'll let you comment, but you didn't take my point. So my thing is that I really disagree with what Josiah was saying when he said when he said everybody wants to butt in and you have 10 and 5, 20 people in a relationship. That is everywhere. That is not just in Arouca. That is basically everywhere. That's Alia's point. The second problem for me, specifically for Arouca, not just Arouca, but Fathom District, is that I cannot, and I repeat, cannot shake the 12-year-old Jordan, 12 to 14, 1 to 14-year-old Jordan, who used to be mischievous, run up and down, rumple shirts, three-quarter pants when it's supposed to be long by ankle, misjudging socks, whatever I used to be doing. I cannot shake that. And the girls, no, they can't remember. They can't remember a time with me not doing that. So they just like, Jordan is a friend to them. Everybody's basically family to me in the Fathom District. So that's within the Fathom District. The biggest problem, though, the biggest problem, Halia Williams, is that for me, between the biggest disparity between outside the church and inside the church is just the sample size. Like, I don't think it's this big reason. It's just the sample size. How much girls it have in church? How much girls I know outside of church? So outside of church is, let me say it's 1,000. I have 1,000 to choose from. The options vast. If it's in church, it have 10. The options scarce. So it's easier to find a girl in 1,000 than it is in 10. If you understand what I'm saying. So that and it's not just to find a girl. Always make it seem like it's just to find a girl. It is to find a girl who also likes you back. So obviously the bigger sample size, right? Obviously the bigger sample size will be easier, and that is just that simple for me. I don't think it's a big church people let's do this and church people. It's not all that. It's just the sample size.
All right, Zayo, go ahead. Alicia, I'll come to you after Zayo.
What I'm left everything that was
What is that say, Zayo?
Everything that I was gonna say was said already.
Okay.
All right, Alicia, and then I saw Anaya.
Anaya, yeah.
Alicia.
Yeah, so first I wanted to say that I totally agree with what Aliyah was saying. Like, it's basically our culture, and it's basically because church members invested in us. They know us, most of us, before we even born. Before we even conceived, they knew us and they're interested in us. So if they're looking on at a relationship, nobody's to say they're judging. And most times they have our best interests at heart. They see you, they think, hey, like, something a little off for the boy. I would love if somebody come up to me and tell me that instead of wanting the church to just turn a blind eye while I date. And as I was saying, it's also our culture. Like Ariel went to Bishop's. I saw if Ariel even talked 2 seconds with any boy, her friends watching her, people watching her, Ariel dating this one. So I don't find we should be that hard on the church. But with the question that you were asking, like if I could date somebody in the church as compared to like out in the world, I would say that Arouca is too small, and I grew up with these people. Like, nobody could really come to me serious on that serious note in Arouca, because I will take it as a joke. Like, I mightn't be interested in it, but I will not go out in the world because I would want somebody who is equally yoked as me, as in, like with any kind of problems I have, I find the first person to go to is God. So I would want a partner who believes in that as well. So we have a problem, we go to God about it, we pray about it. I can be with anybody who I tell me, hey, honey, I have a problem, let's turn to God now. And he like, nah, I not really on that God thing now, but you could go ahead. Or I can even have a spiritual conversation. I can pull you up, you can't pull me up. So I don't think that Arouca is my playing field, but the Seventh-day Adventist Church, definitely. I can't take any non-Christian, that's very hard. And I also have like family members who experience that Adventist out in the world husband or wife relationship, and it was very hard, especially when you bring children in the dynamic, and then some children want to take after the worldly parents and want to go out, want to start drinking, want to do this. So it's a whole set of problems, unwarranted and unwanted problems you're bringing into your marriage by doing that. And I don't really want to do that. So no. Thank you.
Just before Anaya comes on, right? I don't think sometimes that they come into you trying to help you. Just using Ronaldo as an example. Ronaldo and I have never been together. Yet it seems that every time I sit down next to Ronaldo, there's somebody else coming to talk to me. And it's not a, oh, Amariah, you know, ting, 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 Ronaldo. It's never like that. It's, I see you sitting down next to Ronaldo this week again. What's going on there? Like, it's not ever like, so even though they say like, okay, it's a good, I don't know, I think I can tell the difference when it's just friendly and when you overstep in your bounds and it's not funny anymore and you're just being kind of irritating. I can tell the difference between the two.
All right. Anaya?
Okay, I do want to mention that I have been in situations or environments where it wasn't a big deal to sit next to a boy or to be in a relationship where you were not made the spotlight or the highlight. To palm it off on culture or to palm it off on investment, I think that's an excuse, really. I do think that you can be invested and I do think that you can care, but I also think there's a way that you speak to someone, and it's who you speak to, being aware of your relationship with that person and taking into consideration how will this come across. Another thing I do want to mention was the different levels of individuality. Like a person may be in a different place. So while you may be speaking from a point where you have gone through this and now you can reflect and say, oh, this and this is why they are acting this way or why they would have come to me like this. The young people may not be at that point right now. And so what we are trying to do is prevent them from leaving the church, prevent us from leaving the church, then listen to what they are saying. And instead of attacking or trying to make excuses, maybe understand or try to change. I think, being open to what they're saying, because I do think there is some value and some understanding in what Amariah would have said. I think I experienced it as well. People concluding for you that you are in a relationship with someone. I mean, I may have been liking this person, but you coming up to me and saying, oh, you and so together, that it doesn't foster positive relationships that we would want. We want our young people to mingle in the church. But if mingling causes such a spotlight on them, I think it takes away from the good that could come from that.
Okay. Thanks very much, Anaya. Someone sent me a message saying that one of the issues in church is that the youth want to play the field now, want to test the waters, so to speak, and then they jump out. Jordan, I see you unmute your mic one time, and then they jump out to find a spouse or to get a significant other. What are your thoughts on that? That was one of my questions, but I just want to know what are your thoughts on that?
Before we take Jordan, let me just comment on one thing. It's something that Josiah and I think Alicia would have mentioned, in terms of dating someone from a church, and you find the person is your brother, or you find the person is your sister, this kind of, you're too close. I don't know if it's something to do with generation, but I mean, in my generation, I would have been more comfortable going around having a relationship with somebody who I would have known from a long time ago, because I would have known the in and outs of this person. And it's like you're skipping that stage. When you go out here, you have to start all over. When you go outside of Aruka Church per se, you have to start all over. So when I meet somebody who is in the church, who is in Aruka Church itself, who I would have grown up with, I know this person already, I know what they like, I know what they dislike. So, it makes it easier, the transition phase from, that friendship to, boyfriend, girlfriend. It's much easier. So that is what I found was a little bit confusing. You're going outside to find somebody new who you don't know nothing about, and you have to start all over. I mean, you're in Aruka already, and you're familiar with whoever person, so it's much simpler.
And these youths adventurous, they're not like us,
Yeah, I realize that.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead,
What I
Jordan.
would say
And then I'll take Ronaldo.
What I would say to Coon's point is
Stick there, Jordan.
Jordan, you're sticking. Jordan, Jordan, you're sticking.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No. All right. So what I was saying, if I could remember, is that it's not that you don't want to know the person or be comfortable with the person before you start to date them. It's that because of social media and much about the person now. So it's not, you know the person at the back, I know them so good. I say sister that basically living with them, call with them, messaging all the time. It's not a little bit too much now for you to be attracted to them in that way, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Going back to what Dwayne said, I'm trying to remember what was the question. What was the question?
We're breaking up there, boy.
What was your question, Dwayne? The question, the follow-up question that you had.
What was the question?
Say that again?
What was your follow-up question?
Talking about the youths testing the waters, as it were.
What do you mean by testing waters? I want to be clear about what we talk.
Yeah, you ever observe a butterfly collecting nectar? No? What it does? It goes from flower to flower.
Right. Oh, like that. Okay.
Right.
I don't know. I don't really do that.
Nobody hear me? Am I speaking to myself?
So I wouldn't know. Nobody. Jordan, this is your department, bro.
Oh my goodness. All right. Jordan.
Right. I didn't hear what you all said, but
Jordan, stick again.
Jordan,
all right, Jordan, here what? Log out and log back on and see if
about and figure it out. Because if you tell me as a youth now that I cannot figure out and go around and understand who it is I really want or what it is I really like, when am I supposed to do that? At 30? At 35, 40? This is my age to figure it out now. If I happen to hurt you, because the girls and them like to say I hurt them. If I happen to hurt you now, right? You have ample time between me and your next husband to get over that hurt. You're in figure, you have no other chance anymore with anybody else. So now is the time for me and for males to figure it out. That's just my point.
I disagree.
Jordan, you have to take back that point.
I disagree.
Hold on. All right. I know people disagree with Jordan. We'll take it just now. Ronaldo wanted to say something for a while now. So you take Ronaldo. At least we'll come to you after. Right? So remember what you have to say there. Ronaldo, go ahead.
Good afternoon. You all hear me good, right?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we hear you clearly.
Okay. I just want to talk about the people who feel like it's okay to comment on the youth's relationship. I see a lot of people in the chat defending the adults who want to comment on people's relationship, saying things like they did it to them before, that was done to them, and it's just a joke, or that's just the culture, whatever. I feel like if I tell you I don't enjoy you telling me that me and Amara this, or oh, you sit down next to Jody this Sabbath, or you sit down by yourself on the clean or something, that is highly inappropriate. And I feel like at your big age, I think it's a little weird to come and tell me you notice I doing this with this one and this one with this one. Why are you looking at me? Look at Pastor. Look at your own husband. Look at your children. If you think I am one of your children, I am not. I have my 2 parents. Thank you very much. I just don't find that I just find that very inappropriate, and it have no excuse for it at all. None. Thank you.
I agree with what Ronaldo says.
Thanks, Ronaldo.
In the sense that if I tell you to stop, if I tell you that I have an issue with you saying that, then leave it alone. Don't say it again. It's real simple. I believe that life is a very simple thing, and you don't have to overcomplicate it. So if I tell you no, stop it, then stop.
All right.
Yeah,
Khalees,
I
go
think
ahead.
I said, oh, sorry, Khalees, go ahead.
No, I would change the topic, so you go first.
Yeah, I also think that if you haven't said anything to me before in your life, and that is the first thing that you are coming to me saying, that is a problem. It's not a joke. It's not you looking out for me. It's none of that, because you don't tell me happy Sabbath. You don't tell me have a good day. You don't tell me, ask me how my week was. You just come in to me asking me about that. I don't think that's okay at all.
All right. Thanks. Khalees, you up?
Right. So to go back to what Jordan said, I do not think that you finding the person for you or hopping around or having fun should be at the expense of other people's hearts. And you're saying it feel like you don't care. And then you want to know why the girls in Saddam not taking your own, not, and this is not a personal attack at Jordan. It's just, we understand, you have to get to know people. I personally don't think you should be in a relationship with everybody you like. Only the ones you really see like, okay, this might be going somewhere, because you're going to leave hearts broken, and yours too, not just theirs. Your heart is going to be affected as well, right? And you're going to have to see them for the next how much ever years watching you and their friends cut eye because you break their friend hearts. So think about that, please, Jordan, before you go breaking more people's hearts.
I just want to say something. I wouldn't attack Jordan. I was gonna have like a very different view. So the question that we were asking is like jumping around and going from person to person, like testing the waters. Was he saying doing?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, testing the water. All right. Kelly is very correct. Okay. You see, when you're going about testing the waters, when you go testing the waters, you go and throw a big stone and whatever fish at the bottom of that, at that point in time, go and get hurt. The same thing goes to everybody else. We have feelings in it. I wouldn't want a girl to come and play she testing the waters with me to try to figure out if she like me or whatnot. I don't think that's fun. Like me, like if I love you as a person, I want to spend time with you. I want to spend time with you. Don't play you coming around me for like a few months. You have me all attached, lovey-dovey, and then you're like, you know something? I was just testing the waters with you. You know how hurt I gonna feel afterwards? The about a resentment, because now my mindset going to go, the next girl that come across, I wonder if she gonna be testing the waters with me. I wonder if she just coming and play a kind of game and thing with me. I am not a person to do those type of things. When I come at you, my intentions are very clear. I would like to be with you for X, Y, and Z, just to see how things go. It might lead to, a diamond on your ring, a diamond on your finger, but it might lead to something good. But I'm not coming to test waters with you. I find that's very immature, personally. Like, that's why I can't do that. I would not do that to someone. But but I don't really, what I think is a good alternative to testing the waters is making your intents clear from the very beginning, okay? You could be like, hey, what? I like you. It's a little bit, I don't know how it might go. We could vibe, and if something develop, fine. If nothing develop, we could go our separate ways and we could still be friends. I think that's a more mature and appropriate type of thing, because I think as guys, we kind of have this mindset that girls like really tell a kid, like if we just tell them the truth, they'll be like, nah. Girls like honesty. You come honest, you're gonna get you honesty. Okay? You tell them your intents clearly, they might either tell you one or two things, yes or no.
So it's either one or two ways to go and get you. You're not going to hurt anybody in the process. Understand? Male and female. I think like if you want to go testing the waters, don't do that. Kill out one time. Just tell them what you might want to do or what not, see if they might agree and call a judge. Or sometimes you don't even have to test waters at all. You could just be a friend. You can watch this person as your friend. You could see if, like, as we bonding, if anything further could happen. Not everything have to be in a relationship type sense in order to like test waters. You could just be like a friend. You could like watch this girl, you could watch this gentleman, you'd be like, I like their mannerisms, I like what they think, I like their goals, their aspirations, and be like, okay, I think I could talk to this person about going a little further. You know, not every single time we have to go straight in. It could just be as a friend, you understand? So that is my whole thing about testing the waters and all that stuff.
Max, your question just now, right?
Yeah, talk to me.
What do you consider testing the waters then? Because what I'm hearing you're talking to me about is if I go, I tell her
situationships.
Just now. I tell her I really love her and I make her think that she is my one and I'm going towards marriage with you and that is the relationship I'm carrying with you. That is not what I'm speaking about.
Okay, what are you speaking
I am
about?
not speaking about that. I am speaking because this is how I think of testing the waters. If I talk to one girl and I'm figuring her out and I'm in a friendship with her and I'm understanding, do I want to further this relationship with this girl? And I decide, you know what, you turn me off. I don't want to deal with you anymore. And I go and find a next friend. That is testing the waters for me. I am not coming to you and I'm saying, you're going to be my wifey and so and so. And then I just come and say, I ain't like you no more. That is understandably wrong. What I'm saying now is as a man, I am taught to create my value, right? I have to find the one, right? Most women go in and wait for the man to come to them. I'm not saying all, most women are going to wait for the man to come to them. So if I decide I go to one girl, right? And this girl is not the one. And I just rock back and say, because I am talking to you, I just go and wait for somebody to come. The right girl is not going to come to me. And I'm saying, as a man in this age, I have to create my value one, and then I have to go out there and find the right one. I can't sit back and say, well, I have to start talking to this one first. So she went like you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying make your intentions clear for sure, obviously. But I'm saying not situationships, not relationships. I'm saying if I'm just talking to you, because that is when they say I hurting them, you know. If I stop talking to them, I hurting you. This is why understand what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that testing the waters is not a bad thing for me if you're doing it like how I think it. You understand?
All right. Okay. Alea, we'll take your point, and then because we're coming quickly to our close and we have so much to discuss here, so we can't do it in this evening alone. I will make a suggestion at the end of the program here. Alea, let's take your point quickly.
I don't have a point. I don't have a point.
Sorry?
I don't have a point.
Okay, one more quick question that I have been hearing from the youth, right? In terms, and we talk more relationship, in terms of marriage, does the church prepare you properly, one, and two, have the adults in church given you a proper example of what a healthy marriage is like? Are they doing a good job at it from your point of view? Yes, Amaraya.
Okay, I would say that they give us a very unrealistic expectation. What sometimes I don't think that the programs really prepare us for what exactly is going to happen. I think if I wanted to know all that nice things, or I would just go and watch a romance movie, right? I think if you want to talk to us about marriage or all those things, you should give it to us real, give it to us raw. And I think that's how we understand it better.
Right. Thanks. Jordan, you were going to say something?
I think the problem would be that we all try to, as she said, all try to show a perfect scenario of marriage, and there's never a perfect scenario of marriage. Or the perfect scenario of marriage is not what they tell us. So in order to help the youth understand what really is marriage, I would suggest that I don't know how to tell you how to do it, but what is being done now is not helping. That's all I would say. And to answer Leah's question, if we are attending the programs that are set for that, I have. And sometimes they say I'm too young to do it. So now the question lies, what is the age now? Because you're talking to us, the youths now, 18, 19, 17. And then when you're having those programs, you're saying that are too young to enter those programs. So what are we saying? We're saying that 18, 19-year-olds not supposed to be thinking about marriage or what is the proper form of marriage or these things? So that is my question to Alia's question.
All right, Alia, quick point, and then Kalisa, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yes, I agree that we should have more programs, talking about the realities of marriage, right? But as I was saying, even if we do plan these programs, we have to make a concerted effort to attend, because we're talking like AY programs a long time used to deal with marriage and all these things, and many of us never attended, right? So sometimes the opportunity is there, but we just it's not interesting to us, one. But my other thing is we also need to know that sometimes teaching and the passing of information and these things don't always come in one format. So it doesn't always have to be a preacher coming up to speak on marriage or a set AY program. We have a lot of couples in church that actually invite young people over, and even from just going over and sitting down for lunch and eating and then talking after, you get to see them interact as a couple. I could call a good feat. Sean and Alyssa were always inviting us over. We get to see them interact. You get to see them in their home environment. You get to see Brother John and his wife. You get to see Brother Charles. You get to see all these different couples. So yeah, I really think that that's another way for you to Uncle Bill and Auntie Anne. Like, they always have us over. You're always spending a night liming and stuff, and you really get to see them. So don't always think that teaching or examples from church has to come in one particular format. Just like open your eyes and observe. Look at Auntie Russell and Uncle Russell, oh gosh, and Auntie Ingrid, right? You get to see them, like they invite us over and stuff. You could ask them if you could come over Friday night for worship and stuff, and you really get to see them in the environment, and you get to have very honest conversations, because to be fair, to remember to have these marriage programs and stuff, you're asking people to come out in public and like speak openly on something that is private, right? So same we would not want to talk on certain things, kind of unfair to expect, a whole marriage seminar and ask people to come and give real life examples, right? So that's why I think that, we should use these opportunities to see them in their home, and then they're usually very honest and open with you about, the ins and outs of marriage.
All right, thanks very much.
I think if we are going to do that, then I think we need to actually, okay, so let me just say this. The first time I ever went with a group to Sherwin's home was during COVID. So I never know when it's happening by Auntie Anne and Uncle Bill. I don't know when it's happening by the Johns. I don't know when it's happening by Sherwin and Alyssa. So even though you're saying come to these things, and I was never really a part of the group or the group of children that it was happening with. Like, I was never invited to those things. So yeah, I've actually been in this church for 5 years. So I'm not really that new, but exactly that's what I'm saying about Aruka. We don't really include everyone when they come in. So even though there are opportunities there, we're not really reaching out to those who are in the church. It's just those who we know, who are around us, who's our family, who's our close friends. So even though those opportunities are there, a lot of people don't know about them.
But what I want to ask is that if sorry, go ahead, Charlotte. No, I had a question for her, right? Okay, so you say me that you're saying that you already see that the opportunities are not there for you in terms of like them reaching out to be like a friend and stuff, but like do we as young people also reach out to the elder people to be their friends, or do we just leave the responsibility on them? So do you see, Sister X and like actually make an effort to go out and talk to ask her how our children going and thing, or we just find that, the elder people, the older people must come and speak to us and they must be the ones to invite us over? Is it that true?
I think the onus is on the people who are of the church. If I'm coming as a new person, I don't think it's on me to go up to people and say, "Hi, how are you?"
No, I just speaking generally because you did say that, like, well, a lot of them saying in the chat and stuff that, they don't reach out to them, they don't get the opportunity. So for persons other than you then, who are in the church a while now, do you also make the effort to, interact with the older people, or you just relying on them or leaving the responsibility on them to do everything? Just generally speaking.
I think those are young. Go ahead, Josiah.
I think, and I talking as a old man here. I think the responsibility lies with the adults, honestly, earlier, to reach out to the youth. And I kind of closing up here now because it's getting late. In my experience, and Kern could testify to that too. In our experience, the older heads reached out to us, even if there were new youth in the church, they reached out to them. We had people we could have gone by, spent time, lime the night, and so I personally believe the onus is on the adults in the church to reach out to the youth to guide them properly. That is my belief, because we had that, and I think it lapsed. It lapsed for more than one reason. Because when we were growing up, we believed that, as the old saying goes, the village raised the kids, right? We believe that. No, it's not like that. That is just plain talk. No, I have experience where I spoke to a young lady, not no rough how, not no thing. I just tell her, hey, you mustn't talk so much in church and that kind of thing, and wherever. I was very calm, and her father came for me. So with that now, I am very cautious in who I speak, and that young lady and I always talking. We always had a good rapport, but there basically was that one time I had to discipline her and in talking too much, and so it's a lot of issues coming out of why adults don't approach the youth and all that sort of thing. But I think the onus is on the adults to reach out to the youth to guide them properly, right? That is just me.
Right.
So right now, just how Jordan, right now, she will take the closing remarks from each of the panelists if they want to give a closing remark, and we have to pray to close. And after that, I will make a suggestion to move forward. So Jordan, as you start talking, see what you need to say and make your closing remark, please.
I was agreeing and disagreeing with Aliyah. I think just talking and having seminars and about marriage specifically it's not ideal. It doesn't help much. I don't think so. I think real life examples are the only thing that works. And yet still, when you go over to so-and-so house and whoever house it is, you're not really getting a real example of marriage. You're getting them when they are in two good moods and they have company marriage you're getting. Unlike at your own house, which is the best example of marriage you will ever get, at your own house, you would see the ups and the downs, and you would see how your parents come back from arguing or having a disagreement. You understand what I'm saying? And that is the biggest part, I think, about marriage that we need to understand is how to come back from a disagreement. And that is not just marriage, that's relationships, friendships, every kind of friendship, every kind of relationship, sorry. So that was my point on it. I think the only real good example you'll get of marriage is in your own house, your own parents. So the onus is on parents to make sure that they set a good example. I think that's the only thing that will really, really stem out and work. I think the seminars are good, going by people's house are good, but it doesn't really affect your view that much. And my closing remark is that I saw a lot of, in the chat, I saw a lot of older people against younger people. In the chat, the younger people were calling out for help, and the older people were giving them, telling them things. And not to say that they're shooting down their points or they're saying something negative back to them, but as a youth, when you are asked to say something and then somebody comes back at you one time with something else to say, it seems like you're not listening to me. And I understand where they are coming from. I think we should, well, we can't even do this because COVID, but I think when we say we're talking, the youth's talking, I think we should let the youths talk. And then after all the youths talk, then we have Ayong, yes you are. And then after we have everybody, all the other older people saying something, and then vice versa. That is the only thing that would work, because just knowing how we think, I know that if I say something now, and then somebody send me a message saying something opposite, I'm going to say, well, this person doesn't care about what I just say. And that's how I feel like we're taking it. And we're not supposed to take it like that, but that's how we're taking it. That's my only closing remarks. We should have more programs like this and continue to do this. Kelly, Dwayne, Kern, this was great. Thanks for inviting me.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Amariah, you could make your closing remarks if you wish.
Okay, so I was just in closing that as much as we would like to make excuses for what is happening in the church, I think the church has a responsibility to include others. And yes, they have to answer to God as well, but we as a church, including myself, have to answer to God for those who are leaving the church, for those who don't feel included, for those who are ostracized in the church, so they leave. And I think we all have a responsibility to include them. And I would so love to have a part 2 so we can get into the nitty-gritties about what is happening in the church that we are not speaking about, that is going on within the youths that nobody likes to talk about, or when it's complained about, it's pushed under the rug. The inappropriate touching of young ladies that is not coming to light when is spoken about. There's so many things that I would really like to get into. So I pray that we have a part 2.
Soon come. Josiah.
Hi. So basically, I also like to touch on the last one everybody was talking about with like marriage and stuff. I would say that the church has its few programs, but I would also say that marriages, for each and every person, there is no one size fits all. There is no program that's going to fit each and every individual couple. I think that as a couple, whatever, you're going to have to grow to learn and whatnot to like know the person better, because there's a difference like when you're married compared to when you're like boyfriend, girlfriend, and whatnot. However, there are lots of good examples in the church. Brother John, brother and sister Zita, whatnot, etc. Auntie and brother Bill. So they are really good examples. But that is my thing on that. As for closing remarks, what I would want to say is that people, Jordan mentioned it, that like in the group, like in the chats and stuff, people were kind of, I don't know, like they were listening to what they had to say, but then they had their rebuttal. I want to say something, okay? When you're having a conversation with somebody and they make a point, older, younger, whatnot, the moment they say something to you and you say but in your conversation, what you have now done is dismiss every good point, most of the points that they have brought up, and you are now trying to say what you're trying to say. You dismiss what they say. What I would like to say is that your approach and how you want to communicate with the younger generation, and I think the younger generation, how we want to communicate with the older generation, should be changed, tweaked just a little bit, so that it will be more welcoming, so that we won't be feeling like they would be feeling like they're not being attacked, you know. So we want to say that a little tweak here and there and how we communicate with each other would be much appreciated. That is my last closing remark there. And I would like to thank Kelly for inviting me to the my program this afternoon. It was really nice. I would hope that we have a part 2 so we could discuss all the questions further. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Josiah. Zayo, you go.
In closing, I just want to say that we had a healthy discussion this evening, and from what we saw in the chat and what was said and whatnot, there are issues that are not spoken about, as Amara said, and it's very important that we touch on a lot of them, because if they are left unspoken about, then the issue continues. So if we need to talk more, and as the other said, I am looking forward to our part 2. I would also like to thank Kelly's, Dwayne and Kern for the invitation this evening, and I want to thank Ifri for facilitating us as well. So yeah.
All right, thanks. Khalees, you are the AY leader, so that's why you're going last.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, we have a simple solution, personally, in my opinion, and it's just conversation and relationships. Nothing will ever be solved if we keep, again, trying to talk at each other. And until we sit down and listen and have equal respect going both ways, the adults and the elders respect us and listen to what we have to say, sometimes without rebuttals, because sometimes there is truth in what we're trying to say, and then the youths have a more open mind because the elders have been here before. And even though sometimes their approach is not the best, usually their intent is well, you know. So just conversation and begin relationships with people. It's hard to take criticism from somebody you don't know, or from somebody who never gives you any sort of upliftment, you know. So yeah. I think it's a continuous growing process. We won't get it right now, but once we continue trying, we'll get there. Yes, Wayne, back to you.
Thanks, Khalees.
Right.
Brother Big Shot.
Yeah. Just say one thing in closing. I really appreciated the openness of the young people this evening.
Yeah.
It was quite enlightening, and we really enjoyed it. It has been, parts of it has been eye-opening as well, so, and as well as we saw that the church is heading in a good direction as well. When you listen to the youths speaking, you realize that they have their head on, in spite of the fact that, sometimes they will do things differently. And we just have to accept that as the older folks. We are there to guide them. We are there to be mentors to them as well. Another point, just to add to what we were talking about in closing. Long ago, we had a lot of sessions. I was talking to some other person about this recently. We had a lot of sessions long time in terms of preparation for marriage. And just in looking at the program guide to the youths, they have missed a lot. I mean, I could talk about Uncle Joey. I remember programs of Uncle Joey way back when. You had Uncle Joey, you had Pastor Dutton, and these kind of people just coming to church and just talking freely, to us from an early age. And the youths I believe they miss that phase, and part of it has to do with probably church, part of it has to do with the elders in the church, not just elders, but the senior people in the church. And we as the seniors, we have our role. We have a function in terms of guiding the youths, and we have to try our best to guide them, to be mentors to them, because what they see in us is what they would tend to either practice or what they tend to just shut down. As well as, what surprised me a lot recently was when I was talking to a young lady in church, and she was telling me about the small number of young people in church, let's say between 18 and like 20, 22, let's say 25, you could go up to 25. We have a lot of young people slipping out of the church, just slipping through the cracks, and we just not recognizing. But I mean, long time we had a bigger gene pool. We had a choir that was like probably about 100 strong. But now if you call for a choir in church, you're lucky if you get 20. You're lucky if probably lucky if you get 20. So it's something that we have to look at. You have to look at forming relationships with the young people. You have to look at the way you interact with them, whether or not the way that you interact with them is pushing them further away from the church, or is it drawing them closer to the church. There are a number of things that, as a senior person, there are a number of things that we should be doing. The youths have their part, whatever, they will work on their part. But I am speaking from a senior level. There are a number of things that we could do. And you don't have to meet all of them. Just start with one person, start with two people. And the simple thing about it is that in reaching out to that one person or those two people, they might put they might be encouraged to to put you onto somebody else. So just in reaching those one or two people, you reach a majority of people that you didn't even expect. So form a relationship, and with forming a relationship, you'll be able to talk to any one of them about anything. You understand? But just in closing, there's one more thing I have to talk about, but after we pray, I'll talk about that. All right, thank you.
All right. I appreciate all the comments that were made. I appreciate the panel. Thanks so very much. I think you all were honest with your comments, and that is what we wanted. I do appreciate it a lot. I also appreciate that we had more young men on the panel than these two young ladies. They were the roses among the thorns, as we say. I do appreciate that, because we tend to target more the young men. Being men's ministry, we have a little bias for the young men of the church, really, right? And I am very happy that we had 3 young men represented here. In going forward, I suggest that I am putting a challenge to the AY leader that I have no problem, Colonel, and I have no problem if you come to us and you say, any AY leader, any young person come and say, we wanted to moderate this program for us, we wanted to plan this program for us. We have absolutely no problem with it. None whatsoever.
Yeah, so we just came the surface of what you wanted to do today and all.
Yeah, right. So I mean, we touched a lot of issues, and because we just want to hear where, as you say, what in your mind, what we could talk about. And going forward, I would suggest, talking to the AY leader and the AYs, that we have a non-Sabbath time to discuss it. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I know people want to see things, but because it's Sabbath, you wouldn't say what you really want to see, right? So I suggest maybe a Saturday night as a type of social event, right? Where, I mean, because we are under curfew, so you had to be home anyhow. You understand? That I mean, that's just a suggestion. If you all want it, just let the AY leader know, and we could facilitate it, right? I mean, it would have been better if everybody could have been in one space and you're seeing each other and and that sort of thing. But as for now, because of COVID, as you say, we have to do things a little differently. So that is just one suggestion in going forward, right? But I do appreciate the youth and their views. I think the adults have a lot of work to do in that, in especially involving the youth and to make them inclusive and stuff, as Amariah was saying, right? Especially the newer ones to church, right? So I think as the adults, as Glenn said, we could talk from an adult point of view now, that we have, as I say, we have a lot of work to do. And we hope that the youth are open to advice also, because we have been down that road already, right? In many things that you have are experiencing right now, right? So we hope you all are open to advice. I mean, some people really would have your best interest at heart, but they just don't know how to express it properly. So I hope you all are open to take advice. I mean, you all know if you're getting good advice or not, right? So I just want to say thank you again. Kun, you will give us the closing prayer, and then you would say what you need to say. All right?
Heads bowed, eyes closed. Oh, Father, what in heaven, we thank you for yet another Sabbath. We thank you for being able to come out and enjoy each other's presence and each other's discussion. We thank you as well, Lord Jesus, for your love, your safety, for your guidance and your protection, Lord Jesus. We pray in a such a way that as we go through the course of this week, that you'll be with us, that you will continue to protect us, that you'll keep us safe. This is my prayer in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Amen.
I couldn't go. Yeah, say so. You need to say that.
So okay, we in the husbands group, the husbands chat. We have an exercise program that goes on every Monday to Thursday between 6 and 7. Right, so there's an open invitation to any group of 4. We have no competition, right? So we have no competition for any group of 4 or 5 that could join. We are particularly at this time, okay. Well, you're looking at young and old people, young and senior people. Sorry, all right. So any group of 4 that joins, they're supposed to complete 8 sessions within the 2-week period, and you have 2 pizzas up for grabs, 2 pizzas of their choice. You just say what type of pizza you enjoy the most, and the 2 pizzas are up for grabs. But there's only one rebuttal. Kelly's and Naya and Micaiah cannot be in the 3 of them cannot be in the same group. You can have 2 of them in the same group, because 3 of their custom coming out. So you can have 3 all in the same group. You can have two of you all could be in the same group, but not the 3 of you all. Right? So it's open to anybody. If you like, you can either send out a request to either Dwayne or myself or any other husband who is in the chat as well. You could get the Zoom link from them. All right, it's conducted, as I said, between 6 and 7, Monday to Thursday. You're expected to complete 8 sessions. That is it. 8 sessions you have to complete. That should be within a 2-week period. And all 4 members of your group are supposed to be present within the 8 sessions in order to compete and get the pizza. All right, so that is my challenge, or that is our challenge to any group within the chat at present.
Okay, noted.
So
we invite you to be part. I have space in my group, as I have now found out. So anybody could just message me and we'll win this pizza. 2 pizzas. Okay, great. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you so much for being part. Youth, thank you so much for your opinions. Adults and elders, thank you so much for your listening ear. We hope if we have a program similar in the future, that the listening parts and the openness will be a little more present, So once again, thank you so much for coming out. Ife, thank you so much for being behind the scenes with the techno stuff. Thank you to all my panelists for agreeing, and thank you to Dwayne and Kun for agreeing to collaborate. So, bye everyone. We hope you have a great week and come out to AY next week.